What made August 8th the disaster it was and continues to be is a variety of factors. We had our 2 worst fires in history happening at the same time. We also were unable to utilize one of our most effective firefighting tools, which is our helicopters. You put those 2 things together, along with the sheer size and dynamic nature of those fires. You got to mix that with car fires and structure fires. And not all structure fires are equal either. Single family residence is one thing. A paint store is another. An apartment complex, an assisted living facility, a boat, a harbor, all sorts of different kinds of fires. In a perfect world, the Emergency Operations Center can help incident commanders to have that big picture of, okay, here's the fire, here's what's around it, here's its likely path, who's really the vulnerability here, how vulnerable are they? And then you can start making decisions about evacuations, about shelter in place, about where you want to put your resources. I kind of had this aha moment, like, oh wait, Pacific disasters, I've heard of them. When we have multiple disaster fires, most of our information is coming in through what we can hear on the radio. So you're trying to piece together a common operating picture from all of these disparate radio communications, the occasional text that you might get. Without clear mapping and a GIS product, it is so difficult to have a clear concept of what's happening, where it's happening. As somebody who was there at the very beginning of the fires, I felt like my job would be so much easier if I had good real-time mapping of the incident. And it wasn't until the PDC showed up that we had that. But I said something like, you guys are my hero. And I felt it at the time because this was one of the most important things I was lacking. The fact that I was reminded that we have a Pacific Disaster Center and it's right here on Maui, that shows me that we've been underutilizing the PDC as a resource. I was so thrilled with the support that we got from PDC.
Because of the capabilities that PDC has and our ability to do remote sense data imagery and analysis, it didn't take us a week to go house to house to the 2,000 homes that have been destroyed. NASA's sending up satellites, we're getting data, and then through the partnership with PDC, we're translating that into something that matters. PDC is able to identify the number of homes that are destroyed, and then PDC has the modeling capability to say, what does that mean financially? And what does that mean as far as needs? How much food, water, shelter do we need for the population, and ensuring that it's here as quickly as possible?
You need to know the hazard, you need to know the vulnerabilities. And you don't know the vulnerabilities until you know exactly where the hazard is and what's in its way.
What would have helped out and made things easier is going to old school maps.
We've provided some of the paper maps for you guys in your trucks and things like that, and we'll continue to do so. So after a few days, we were able to get these critical information layers. We've got things like the fire, the burn scar, the number of buildings that were impacted. How is that type of information useful to the fire department and how you conducted your operations or your investigations?
When I'm briefing to somebody and I get to show them exactly what we're dealing with, where I need the resources, where are the critical pieces of information in order to manage our resources better, in order to create one plan that keeps everyone safe, and you guys are able to provide what we needed, not only that day, but every other day after, and it's huge.
I think there is something unique about our state. The aloha that we bring has really lent itself to resilience building. We are connected, and I think when we recognize that and we work together, we can do great things. We immediately saw these networks, the Maui communities come together and been able to mobilize to effectively respond to the needs. And I think this serves as the model for the rest of the world.
I'm one of the primary representatives at the Emergency Operations Center. If the Pacific Disaster Center isn't in the forefront of my mind when we have a disaster in the Pacific, that shows that we're not taking advantage of that resource that's available to us. Accurate information as early as possible helps us provide consistent, accurate information that will withstand the media scrutiny down the road and helps build public trust in government.
I've been doing disaster management for the last 25 years, and I've had the opportunity to support communities around the world. But in this case, this is so personal everything in our daily life is impacted. I mean, I have staff members who lost their family homes, so I have immense respect for the entire PDC ohana that are doing what we do around the world, but in our own community. It's really hard. So I do want to say thank you to every agency, every individual who's come in from outside Maui, from Oahu, from the Big Island, from Molokai, to support us in the same way that we have gone out to support them. Being here is heavy, and it's clear that life has changed forever. Now, we will be stronger. We will move forward with aloha, and we will support everybody that has been impacted by this tragic event.